Te Deum laudamus.
I always like coming to Assisi, and this Jubilee year of St. Francis gives me another excuse. As you can see in the lovely scene behind me, it really is in a beautiful spot. So today I've started a visit, a pilgrimage really, to Assisi on the occasion of 800 years of St. Francis's death, which has been declared a Jubilee year by Pope Leo. A special year following up on the Holy Year that we've just celebrated. It started almost immediately afterwards in January and has a special aim in mind. The birthplace of Francis, which is not to be missed, was later transformed into a little chapel, and it really is a beautiful place to spend a moment. After that, I would recommend a visit to San Rufino, which is the cathedral in Assisi, and there you find the baptismal font where Francis and St. Clare were both baptized. It is certainly a place of devotion, and of course it is an opportunity for us to reflect on the importance of baptism in our lives. Francis was born into a well-off family. His father was in cloth and merchant and so on. But one of the most dramatic events was his embracing poverty. This is very well illustrated in a beautiful piece of metalwork, an image of Francis discarding his clothes in the first Franciscan house. It's shown in the first Franciscan church in Gubbio. And that really is a lesson that we are to take up during this Jubilee year. Pope Francis, of course, embraced the whole matter of poverty very much in his life and proclaimed it in the church too, inspired by Francis. It's a time when we have to ask ourselves what comes first in our lives. This is the church of St. Clare, where the famous crucifix, where our Lord spoke to Francis, is now located. Originally it was in San Damiano, and our Lord said to Francis, "Go and build my church." That phrase sticks with many people, including myself. And in this year, when we are thinking about Francis and the inspiration that he is to all of us, we're thinking about being pilgrims of hope. Each of us can play our part in building the church too, as we hear the Lord and listen to him speaking to us. Well, it's lovely to be here in Gubbio at the church, which marks the spot where St. Francis tamed the wolf, Brother Wolf. There are a lot of stories about St. Francis. Some of them, of course, are legends rather than true stories. This is said to be one of the legends, but everybody loves it, of course. It's Francis and Brother Wolf. Because Francis was famous, and is famous, for his love of nature, for animals, birds, as this statue here, Francis with the birds, and also his love of the environment. And here it was said there was a ferocious wolf that terrorized the town and Francis came and made peace with the wolf. Hence, Brother Wolf. And there are statues and this lovely church, and in this beautiful town of Gubbio.
Fiat misericordia tua Domine super nos, quem amorus per animus vitae.
Well, it's really special to be here in Greccio, where St. Francis, who taught the people not just in words, but also as any good catechist with images, that Francis created the first crib that has now expanded across the world as a way of celebrating the birth of our Lord at Christmas. Here in this sanctuary, we have the image that we're familiar with, recalling the special event that took place here, and that now inspires so many to love of our Lord and to taking his way of simplicity, poverty and love. And here is the cave, or the grotto, where Francis actually created the living scene of the birth of our Lord and celebrated Mass there. That has been enhanced, of course, with these beautiful frescoes. I noted when I was there that both Pope John Paul II and Pope Francis had visited and prayed there. And of course, I did too. Well, here I am at the focus of this special year of St. Francis. It is the Basilica of San Francesco. And here, in the lower part where I'm just going to now, is the tomb of St. Francis. I mentioned earlier the aim of this particular year, following the Jubilee year, where we were all encouraged to be missionaries, to be people of hope, pilgrims of hope. The Church has given us this special year of St. Francis as one who would inspire us by his life to be more like Christ, to be people of hope. And there's so much about Francis that is encouraging, so much to learn from him. One of the things, of course, is his poverty. Another is his love of nature. Yet another is his conversion, which happened when he was so young. So there's a lot to learn from Francis during this year. San Francesco is truly a beautiful basilica. The upper basilica has the famous Giotto pictures. Here we are in the lower basilica, again with beautiful paintings, and the altar which is above the tomb of St. Francis. We also see here the chapel where the tomb is, where people are praying, and it is very much the centre of devotion during this year. And then the picture, a close-up of the actual tomb of Francis. Well, it is lovely to be here at the Pozioncula. The Pozioncula Chapel, Pozioncula means little portion, is where Francis began the religious community that he founded, and here that he died. And it is on the occasion of his death, on October the 3rd, 4th, 1226, that we're marking this year with the 8th centenary of his death. So it is a really special time for all those who are devoted to St. Francis. Not only do they have the opportunity to come here and enjoy this special place, but also they can do so in any Franciscan church. in our own diocese we have 2 centres of the Franciscan communities, the Capuchins and the Conventuals in Oxford, and I know they'll be celebrating on the 4th of October this year. So it's an opportunity for us to be, if we're well enough to go there, but also we can celebrate in our own parishes and be connected to those churches if we're not well enough to go, with the intentions of the Holy Father, and so get this special indulgence of this special Jubilee year. And here is the special Portiuncolo Chapel. Today it is within the great Basilica of St. Mary of the Angels, but of course originally it was just a chapel in the woods, and around here was the cells, and Francis had his cell too. It was here that the community began, and it was in this chapel that Francis died. The Basilica of San Francesco has many famous Giotto paintings, but one of the most famous, before the time of Giotto, is a fresco showing Francis and the birds. And his love of nature, love of the environment, his love of all creatures is something that Francis is very, very much renowned for. And indeed, of course, Pope Francis gave that a lot of promotion, if you like, in his encyclical Laudato Si. Our care for the environment is the big question for us. And this is his lovely prayer, which many will know. I just quote a little part of it. The highest, all-powerful, good Lord, yours are the praises, the glory, the honor, and blessing. To you alone, the highest, do they belong, and no man is worthy to mention your name. Be praised, my Lord, through all your creatures, especially Sir Brother's Son, who brings the day, and you give light through him. And he is beautiful and radiant in all his splendor. Of you, the highest, he bears the likeness.
Non